All right. You ready, Joni?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oops, that left hand. Welcome everyone to another Web Wednesday for Conaghan Newberry. Tara Newberry, partner at Conaghan Newberry, here to talk to you about short sales. With me today is Joni Williams. She is a real estate agent and a specialist when it comes to short sales. So we're here to answer your questions and to talk to you a little bit about how short sale works. Briefly, a short sale, despite the name, is not a short process. It merely is a situation where you're upside down in your house and the bank is going to agree to accept less than the payoff amount in order to remove the deed of trust and allow the title of the property to change over to the purchaser. The short sale process itself is different for every bank. It's different for different types of loans. There's a lot of complexity that goes into getting a short sale approved. So Joni is here to kind of dispel the myths about those complexities and give you a little bit of insight on how short sales have worked over the past 3 years. I think you go back 3 years and it's completely a different process. Once the housing collapse happened here in Las Vegas, the home values diminished rapidly, and at this point 75% of homeowners are underwater. So most of the real estate transactions that are happening are either short sale or an REO purchase after a foreclosure. So with that, Joni, why don't you give us a little bit of insight on what you've been seeing and how things have gone?
Okay, well, what I've noticed lately is our sellers are waiting a little too long to start the process. They're waiting to see if they're going to get a loan modification. They're waiting to see how things go with the mediation, and they're just waiting too long, and then they're calling when they've already been given their notice of default or their for sale date, and it's kind of hard to stop that at that point. So my suggestion to everyone is, if you're going to try to work a loan mod or you're going to go to mediation, absolutely, but be upfront with your agent. Get the property listed so we can at least get it marketed and out there. Right. And then if things don't work out, at least you've been on the market. Hopefully we've got offers coming in, and we're not waiting till that last minute when, oh no, the bank's going to want me out of the house in 2 weeks, and what do I do now?
Okay. And I think what goes into that a lot of times is people are wanting to know, if they list the property, then are you able to get the bank to postpone the sale?
Exactly. And if it's listed, at least it gives me some leverage in postponing the sale. Mm-hmm. It's better if we have an offer. And again, as long as everybody's on the same page with trying to do loan mod, trying to do mediation, right, get it out there, because it does take time. Short sales have come a long way in the past 3 years, like you said, but they still do take at least 90 days. Right. It's not like we're going to list the house today, sell it tomorrow, and you're going to be out in 30 days. It does not work that way.
Right, and I think that a lot of times that's why homeowners will wait, because they figure, well, once I list the property, someone's going to come and make an offer in a normal real estate transaction. Right. Once it's approved, you are out in 30 days.
Correct.
But that doesn't happen in a short sale.
Not in this animal.
And in addition to that, you oftentimes, if you do have, because I know homeowners might have, kids, and they don't want to move in the middle of the school year, have you been able to negotiate with the new purchaser, a stay over past the close of escrow in order for some of those types of things to work out?
Everything's negotiable, and that's what I explain to everybody. You need a little bit more time, we can get it worked out. Most of the time people are understanding. A lot of the people purchasing right now in Las Vegas are investors. So, they're willing to work with that homeowner and give you those extra few months that you might need.
Right. Now, is there any restrictions when you're doing these sales? For example, you do have an investor coming in and making a purchase. Are there restrictions that you're seeing where the bank is going to require that the homeowner vacate the property?
Absolutely. If you're getting a half approved, you do have to vacate because you're being given money to leave. Right. So there's no way you're going to be able to stay over for that.
Okay.
There are several banks out there now that are making sellers sign an affidavit saying, we don't know the person buying the house and we are not going to rent it back.
Okay.
So again, it depends on the lender, depends on the investor. I pretty much know which ones are going to allow it, which ones aren't, and I can be upfront and honest with that seller so they know what they're up against. But right. Definitely, if you're accepting any type of monies, you're going to have to go.
Right. And those monies are used to assist you in your move-out expenses, deposits for a rental. All right. For a lot of the people that are looking at this move out, what are you seeing as far as trends with regard to landlords? Because one of the questions I get, and this happens a lot because I do a lot of bankruptcy work, is, well, who's going to rent to me? Because I've just had you know, a year or 2 years of delinquency on my mortgage waiting on my short sale to go through. I just filed bankruptcy, you know, all these foreclosure-based hardships. Who's renting to these people?
Everyone is renting. We're not having problems with that. People understand. The property management companies, the individuals who are doing their own property management, they're giving everyone a break. They understand the situation that people are in. They may require a little bit more deposit. It's not the end of the world. Are they saying you're not rentable? No, you are. Landlords are working with people. We do have some heart left in our Las Vegas Valley.
Good. So the worse your credit is, maybe the more challenging it is to find the right property.
Right.
But you aren't finding where you can't actually get one of your short sale clients into another rental situation.
Absolutely not. We've had success with everybody that we've placed in a rental.
Great.
So that's good news.
And I would imagine a lot of the investors that are coming in, even though you may not be able to stay in that particular property, maybe even the investor buying that might have another one.
Absolutely, they do.
Right. Okay. So that just kind of, you know, the questions that come up often are, you know, what happens next?
Right.
And I think the delay that you see, and I see it too, people come to me 2 weeks before a sale and say, what can you do? And I'm like, well, not much now. I mean, we're looking at, you know, calling the bank and throwing ourselves on a sword asking for mercy to get a postponement, or we have to file bankruptcy. I mean, those are, when we get 2 to 3 weeks within a sale date, those are really my only options.
Right.
Unless they've never applied for HAMP.
Exactly.
If you apply for HAMP at least 10 days prior to the sale date, they have to stop the sale until they either approve or deny you for HAMP.
Right.
So that is sometimes a tool, but at this point, pretty much everybody's applied for HAMP at least once.
Well, you know, and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about. I have so many people going, well, how many people get a loan mod? And I'm like, you know, Tara's the person to ask because she sits in these, you know, mediation hearings. She can tell us. So what is your percentage out there? Because everybody wants to know how many people get a loan mod.
Well, let me couch that with how many people get a trial modification.
Oh, wow.
I would say probably about 50% of the people that apply will get a trial modification. How many trial modifications actually turn into a permanent loan modification? Not very many.
No.
Not very many.
And that's exactly what I'm telling my clients.
Yeah.
Not many turn into a permanent situation.
No. And financially long term, you have to look at you know, a variety of factors. A younger couple or a young person coming in with, you know, continued growth in income, they will be able to sustain that current payment and then the escalation of the payment under the HAMP guidelines as the payment increases. When you're talking about baby boomers and end of work life individuals that are getting ready to go onto Social Security, that's where I see the most failure. Most of those people that are getting these HAMP modifications will make 1 or 2 payments and then they realize, I can't do this and live. Our income's been dropped dramatically. When I retire, they look at what their retirement amounts are going to be, and it's just not feasible. And so a lot of times they'll convert into a HAFA after they've been given a HAMP trial, because it gets you qualified to do the HAFA short sale, which HAFA's great because it gets you that automatic deficiency waiver, so the bank's not going to sue you after doing the short sale because HAFA protects you. And to my knowledge, you can get move-out cost expenses. There's a whole magic formula that happens there.
That's magic. That's the key word. It is a magic formula.
Creative math is what my sister used to always call it. So sometimes people are given move-out expenses, but you know, yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think too that there's so much hardship and battle that goes into getting a loan modification done that loan mods are now harder to get than a short sale approval, which it used to be the exact flip 3 years ago.
And that's what I'm telling my clients. I'm like, you know, you really need to list. You've established your hardship. It's time to move on. You can't just stay here till the bitter end and then expect me in the last hour to pull a rabbit out of a hat and save you from the foreclosure date tomorrow. So.
Well, let's go to a couple of questions. Let's see. First question is, how should you go about selecting a real estate agent to list your short sale? My mom's friend is a real estate agent, and she's offered to do it, but I don't know if she has the experience.
Okay. Best suggestion for that is you want to make sure they're certified. We do have certifications now for a short sale. One of them happens to be a CSP, a Certified Short Sale Professional. You want to ask the agent, how many of these have you done? Can you show me some approval letters that you've gotten from some banks? We can black out the information so that you're not seeing names and loan numbers in the individual banks, and prove to the client that yes, we know what we're doing and we've done this. Don't just hire the first person that comes along that says, oh, I can list your house as a short sale and sell it, because it is a very specialized area of doing real estate today.
Okay. Also, another question. When a short sale listing goes up, how long on average does it take for an offer to come in?
I'd say a good average is 60 to 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there is when the process starts with the bank. We could be at another 60 to 90 days, and then waiting for the close of escrow. So technically you could be 7-8 months from the time you actually list it to you get an offer and negotiate with the bank.
All right. Are you seeing short sales being encouraged by the different lenders?
Absolutely. Once the bank has established that they do have legitimate hardship with the phone calls, people aren't answering the phone. Answer the phone. Talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what your problem is. Tell them you're considering a short sale. They're going to pretty much give you the go-ahead right there in that short interview to find an agent and list the house.
Okay. And are there some banks that actually have a preferred agent list? Is this right?
They're trying to, but they really can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an REO. So you're not a foreclosed property yet. You are still the owner of that home, and you get to decide who you want to represent you.
Okay. So if a homeowner is told by a bank, you have to use this agent, that's not necessarily true.
Correct.
Okay. And do you think it's in their best interest to go out and interview their own before just immediately taking the bank's suggestion?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. We have another question. Can I do a loan mod at the same time as a short sale? Can I back out of a short sale? Yes and yes. Yes, you can do a loan modification while you're doing a short sale, but here's how it works for most of the banks. When you apply for a loan modification, you can't be in a short sale department and in loss mitigation at the same time. So I think that's the myth that's out there, is that you can't do a loan mod and a short sale at the same time.
Right.
Well, in the scope of which department is handling your file in the bank, that is true. If you're in loan mod, then short sale won't have you. Vice versa, if you initially go for a short sale with the bank, then they won't put you over into the loan mod department, with the exception of HAFA, but I won't go into how that works. That's kind of a special animal of itself. But if you apply for a loan modification and you're and usually you're going to go in and talk to a lawyer, and the lawyer's going to say, well, we can try a loan mod, but you might not get approved, and even if you do, you might not be happy with the amount that comes back. So to be sure that we're covering our bases, go out and get an agent, list the property, tell the agent you're applying for a loan mod, and that if the loan mod doesn't go through or it's not acceptable, that you fully intend on completing the short sale part of it. That aspect is actually the best strategy to use. That way you don't get into a pinch where you get too close to a sale date and the loan mod comes back and says, oh, you're denied, and now you don't have enough time to try to process a short sale. So you definitely need to look at trying to do both at the same time. However, if you apply for a loan mod and then you call their short sale department, the short sale department will pull the file from the loan mod.
Right.
So yes, apply for the loan mod, get an agent, list the property. That's a very good strategy to use. And the agents that are out there, they understand that homeowners are going to do what's in their best interest.
Absolutely.
It's, you may have to hustle and work and not
And
get
if they
paid.
can save their home, that's what we want them to do also, because they're going to remember down the road that, hey, she helped me or he helped me, and now I'm ready to sell, so I'm going to call that agent who did give me that chance.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and that's, I think that's all the agents are asking for, is just tell me up front.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
We're all on the same team.
Right. And if you've got a bankruptcy attorney, tell them that too.
Absolutely.
Because nothing makes a real estate agent more mad than to find out the home's been disposed of in a bankruptcy case while they're still trying to sell it.
That's always fun.